Now in November, I converted a portion of my garden in what is called a jungle garden. And the idea was to maximize my limited space to see if I can grow different varieties of crops in harmony. So in today's video, I will just give you an update on my jungle garden. So all of that is coming up. Now when I started this project, the intent was to make the tripod the center of this garden. The idea was to grow climbing varieties up the trellis to maximize my space. So on the one side, I planted a butternut squash. I also planted a spaghetti variety on the one side. And I was fortunate enough to have a volunteer tomato that was growing, that I transplanted on the one side of the tripod. In the beginning, everything was going very well. Everything was looking great. I even managed to get some crunchy radishes. Also managed to harvest some tomatoes before I went on holiday. But when I came back from the holiday, I noted that my beloved butternut was attacked or was affected by powdery mildew. Now, powdery mildew is a fungal disease that many gardeners struggle with. It can affect many different plants, but it is very much prevalent with squash plants. So there are many ways that you can actually fight powdery mildew because the disease is not normally fatal to the plants. It will just allow certain plants to become yellow. You will see some white to gray powdery appearance on the leaves, which will cause the leaves to fall off. And it can also affect the plant, the flower buds, which will in end affect the growth and the yield of your harvest. So I had an option to treat it, to fight powdery mildew, or just to move on. However, there are quite a number of ways that you can actually fight powdery mildew. One of the recipes is to mix milk, 1 part of milk with 1 part of water, and spray that on the leaves, which will help to fight the powdery mildew on your plants. So instead of fighting, I've decided, let me just go ahead and harvest some of my fruits. So I managed to get 1 butternut. I also managed to get 3 spaghetti squash. I managed to get also a lovely harvest of runner beans. So I also planted runner beans around on the trellis, and we managed to get quite a number of dry beans. So I prefer to grow the beans and harvest them when they are dry. So I allowed the beans to dry, and the plan is to start over. Now, some of the things that I will definitely do next time is to plant 1 butternut plant instead of 2. In my case this year, the butternut was growing all over the place. And also because I was not around to train up the butternuts in the earlier stages of their growth, they were just going all over the place, overshadowing some of the other plants that was also growing in the garden, like the beetroot, the carrots, and so on. So I think next time I will just maybe plant 1 butternut instead of planting 2, and just to train them upwards. That is very important. After we have cleared everything, just to make sure that we add some fertility to the space. So I managed to get some mushroom compost in December to extend a portion of my garden through the no-dig method, and also just to add to some of my beds for the growing season. So I think I will just take some of the compost that is still left and just put on these beds before I will be planting some of the crops to try out another round of the jungle garden. So the things that I will be planting around the trellis, now that I have put the compost, I've decided to grow peas up the trellis. We are in the middle of the season that is changing from summer to autumn. So I think it's best for me to plant some peas. So I will just go and plant peas around this tripod. Yeah? Now on this side, I will be growing some of my sweet potato slips. So this area used to be the place where I used to plant my sweet potatoes. The soil is nice and sandy, which is actually perfect for sweet potatoes. So I will plant these slips I have approximately 8 slips here that I will be planting on this side of the tripod. We have some cabbage seedlings that I do have here. I will transplant the cabbages on this side. The idea is to make sure that you do some companion planting. So I'll be planting cabbage. I also have a dill as a herb that I will be also transplanting just to deter some of the pests. I also have nasturtium here that I will also be planting to keep pests at bay, like the aphids. And then I will also be planting some of this carrot variety and beetroot in the section of the garden. So when it comes to the first round of my jungle garden, I would say that the score is that the jungle garden won and powdery mildew actually failed, because we managed to get the harvest and we have learned from this experience. But I am totally excited to give this another try. I'm happy with the results that we managed to get. Some butternut, some beans, tomatoes. Yeah, so let me know what is growing in your garden. If you want to see what we have planted in February, I will put a link of a video right here that you can check out. But thank you so much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next one. Keep on sowing and growing. Peace.